Gisela, Archduchess of Austria. She was born on the 12th of July 1856 in Luxembourg, Lower Austria, in the Austrian Empire. She died on the 27th of July 1932, aged 76, in Munich, Bavaria. She is buried next to her husband in St. Michael's Church in Munich. Birth name: Gisela Louise Marie. Her husband was Leopold, Prince of Bavaria. She had 4 children: Elisabeth Marie, Princess of Bavaria, born the 8th of January 1874 and died the 4th of March 1957. She married Count Otto of Seefried and Buttenheim, and they had 5 children together. August, Princess of Bavaria. She was born on the 28th of April 1875 and died on the 25th of June 1964. She married Archduke Joseph August of Austria, and they had 6 children together. George, Prince of Bavaria. He was born the 2nd of April 1880 and died the 31st of May 1943. He married Archduchess Isabella of Austria, but the marriage was annulled on the 5th of March 1913 on the grounds of non-consummation. He had no known children. Conrad, Prince of Bavaria. He was born the 22nd of November 1883 and died the 6th of September 1969. He married Princess Buona Margherita of Savoy, Genoa, and they had 2 children together. She belonged to the House of Habsburg-Lorraine. Her father was Franz Joseph I of Austria. Her mother was Elisabeth or Sissy of Bavaria. She had 3 siblings, Sophie, Rudolph and Marie Valerie. From the 10th of September 1898 till the 21st of November 1916, she was Grand Mistress of the Order of the Starry Cross, an imperial Austrian dynastical order for Catholic noble ladies, founded in 1668. Awards received. Order of Teresa. The order was founded December 12, 1827 by Queen Teresa of Bavaria, wife of King Ludwig I of Bavaria. She established an endowment which paid an annual pension to 12 unmarried noble ladies. It continues to function today. Order of Saint Elisabeth, an all-female chivalric and charitable order in the Kingdom of Bavaria. Order of Queen Maria Louise, an order created by King Charles IV of Spain by royal decree in April 1792 at the request of his wife Queen Maria Louisa to reward noble women who distinguished themselves for their services and talents. Like her older sister, Archduchess Sophie, and her brother, Crown Prince Rudolph, Gisela was raised by her paternal grandmother, Princess Sophie of Bavaria. A sober nature like her father, she kept a reserved attitude towards her mother. She had a very close relationship with her brother, whose later suicide hit her hard. Her father collected some of the family's personal items, such as the first pair of shoes worn by each of his children. Among these keepsakes was a poem written for him by a young Gisela one Christmas. The poem was said to be the most treasured item among his collection. Her mother, Elisabeth, was only 18 years old when she gave birth to Gisela, and only 1 year had passed since she had given birth to Gisela's older sister, Sophie Frederica. When the Emperor and Empress took their children with them on a trip to Hungary, both children became seriously ill. Sophie Frederica died from typhoid fever, while the 10-month-old Gisela survived. The Empress Elisabeth blamed herself for the death of her child, as she had taken the children against the advice of her mother-in-law, Archduchess Sophie. After returning to Vienna, she left Gisela in the hands of the Archduchess. From that point on, she paid little attention to her now oldest daughter, and focused on her own beauty and health as well as politics. Gisela grew up in her grandmother's household, together with her younger brother Rudolf. The two children were extremely close, and when it was time for Rudolf to receive his own household and new teachers, the children were heartbroken. It is unknown what Gisela thought about the strict and harsh treatment Rudolf had to endure, but it is safe to say that she was relieved when her mother stepped between teacher and son, probably saving his life. This was, however, the only time Elisabeth fought for the rights of her two older children. Archduchess Sophie took care of Gisela's education. Gisela was an excellent equestrian and hunter, and thereby followed traditions and values of her family. Gisela learned the languages of the empire her father ruled, and was instructed in the domestic duties to run a respectable household. For example, she had to organise, delegate and instruct her servants, which was not an easy task for the shy girl. She enjoyed sewing and painting throughout her life. In times of stress, she would lock herself in her studio and paint for hours on end. Archduchess Sophie raised Gisela to be the perfect wife and mother, which later showed in the happy marriage Gisela had with Leopold. Her Bavarian grandmother, Ludovica, enjoyed Gisela's attention and care in her later life. Gisela was said to be quiet, calm and peaceful, very much like her father, whose company she enjoyed. She always obeyed her grandmother and worked hard for a harmonious family life. Although Empress Elisabeth had always regretted her early marriage, she arranged a marriage for Gisela, and in Vienna on the 20th of April 1873, at the age of 16, Gisela was married to her second cousin, Prince Leopold of Bavaria. According to a letter to his mother, written in 1872, Emperor Franz Joseph wanted the match between his daughter and the prince, as there were so few Catholic princes available at the time. It seems he felt he had to secure the only viable candidate, to whom he could give Gisela, whom he called our darling girl during the wedding rites, with confidence. Gisela's mother remained absent during the wedding celebrations. The young couple was made welcome in Munich by her husband's family and went to live in the Palais Leopold residence in Schwabing. The street opposite the Palais was renamed Gisela Strasse in her honour. Their marriage turned out to be a happy one, as Leopold's family welcomed Gisela warmly. With them she experienced a fully functioning family life for the first time. Her father, Emperor Franz Joseph, often came to visit. Her mother, however, did not actively stay in touch with Gisela. The couple's first child, Elisabeth Marie Auguste, was born 9 months after the wedding, on the 8th of January 1874. Three more children soon followed: Auguste on the 28th of April 1875, George on the 2nd of April 1880, and Conrad on the 22nd of November 1883. Although Marie Valerie was born in 1868 and was therefore 12 years younger than Gisela, they were close in later life. Marie Valerie often visited her sister in Munich and stayed in touch with her. Gisela was very close to her younger brother Rudolf, who she loved deeply. Even after her marriage and move to Bavaria, they stayed in touch, and she was well informed of his life. She knew how unhappy he was in his marriage to Stephanie of Belgium, and how he suffered from gonorrhea, which rendered his wife Stephanie sterile. In 1886, Rudolf and his 17-year-old mistress, Baroness Marie Wetzera, were discovered dead in a joint suicide. Gisela never managed to get over his death and blamed his wife Stephanie for driving him to it. Together with her sister, she consoled her father, while her mother never came to terms with her son's death. Empress Elisabeth never came to visit Gisela in her home in Munich and preferred to stay in a hotel. In her poem she describes Gisela as a thin swine and her children as piglets. As Elisabeth found beautiful women and girls to be the more interesting conversational partners, she had little interest in building a close relationship to Gisela. Elisabeth gave all her maternal affection to her youngest child, Marie Valerie, who said she often felt embarrassed and overwhelmed by Elisabeth's concentration on her. At 1:35 p.m. on Saturday the 10th of September 1898, her mother Elisabeth was walking along the promenade when the 25-year-old Italian anarchist Luigi Lucchini approached, attempting to peer underneath the Empress's parasol. He seemed to stumble and made a movement with his hand as if he wanted to maintain his balance. In reality, he had stabbed Elisabeth with a sharpened needle file that was 4 inches 100mm long that he had inserted into a wooden handle. Elisabeth was pronounced dead at 2:10 p.m. Gisela dedicated a huge part of her life to the church, to the disadvantaged and to the poor. During World War I, she set up a military hospital in her home while her husband was a field marshal on the Eastern Front. Her father, Franz Joseph, died on the evening of the 21st of November 1916 at the age of 86. His death was a result of developing pneumonia of the right lung several days after catching a cold while walking in Schönbrunn Park with the King of Bavaria. After fleeing from Munich to Ischl in 1918, Leopold and Gisela struggled to settle in as normal citizens. The Council of Workers and Soldiers responsible for the distribution of food called them royal parasites and refused to include them. But the people remembered Gisela's social commitment and what she had done for them and did their best to help them. Thanks to them, Gisela and Leopold were able to live peacefully as regular citizens. When the revolution broke out in 1918, the rest of the family fled the city, but Gisela remained and took part in the 1919 elections for the Weimar National Assembly, where women above the age of 20 were allowed to vote for the first time. Such was the esteem in which she was held that she was commonly known as the Good Angel from Vienna, and she became the patron for a number of institutions such as the Gisela Bahn, a train running from Salzburg, the still active paddle steamer Gisela, and the Gisela Gymnasium in Munich. Her sister Valerie died on the 6th of September 1924 of lymphoma. Shortly before her death, Gisela wrote in a letter, "I must add that I have seen Valerie, fully conscious, completely aware of her condition, and so devoutly accepting, even joyfully anticipating her impending departure, that I believe an unexpected recovery would actually disappoint her." Gisela and her husband celebrated their golden wedding anniversary in 1923. Her husband Leopold died on the 20th of September 1930 in Munich. Gisela survived her husband by 2 years. She died aged 76 in Munich on the 27th of July 1932. She is buried next to her husband, Prince Leopold. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, click the like button and please subscribe. Thank you.